Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting for another episode of Cash or Trash. Hopefully you can see me, you can hear me, and this goes. My computer, like right before I decided to go live, like the fan kicked on, like it's working extra hard, and it's still going. Like it's working extra hard. So I've closed everything but what I need for the stream. We will see what happens. um, so wait, there's something. Hang on a second. Oh no, that's okay. All right. So I don't know. We will see. Hopefully this lasts. Johnson seems clear on this end. That's good. That is a good thing. We had GTK in here tailgating. What is going on? John was only second today, but he wasn't third. He was better than last night. Unruly. He got ahead of Unruly. What's going on, my friend? Manny the Comic Collector. Happy Sunday to you. Gigi Cheesy. What is going on? Gigi Creasy. Excuse me. What is going on? Sam I am. Looks good. I'm betting smoke was. Let's hope not. Like I said, I'm not. It just literally did it when I went into StreamYard. So I don't know. And it's still like I can still hear the fan running like loudly. So I don't know. I'm a little concerned. We will see what happens. For anyone that is new to this stream, this is my Sunday Cash or Trash stream. We're a little late. That's because we were waiting on some info to come for Tom to drop his video. But so if you watch my channel, you know on Saturdays I do the look back where I look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago and see what they've done in the 6 months since. On Sundays, we try to do a Cash or Trash where we talk about the hot comics of this week and we make predictions sure to go wrong for what's going to happen over the next 6 months when we look at these books later. Sometimes we talk about them for a longer term. As always, if I knew what I was talking about, then I would probably have a lot more money. So this is just here to have fun and, just talk about it and think about through why these books are hot and what's actually going on with them. So with that, how do I do that? I throw them into categories, which I've recently been like category shamed. My categories are too mean instead of being serious. But that's okay. We're going to keep doing with my categories. So we got our straight cash. Homemade. These are books I think are going to continue to increase in value, either short term or more likely when we talk about a book, we're talking about like long term with straight cash, even if we think it's going to drop in the short term. Worth it. Books that are probably priced about right for the next, period of time. If you buy it now, you're probably it's going to be worth it. You'll probably do okay. We got the other side of that coin, the I'll Be Back. They're probably not that overpriced right now, even being hot. But if you're patient, you come back, you'll probably do okay. You'd be better off, being patient, finding a deal. You should be able to find one. It's a Trap. These are books that are going to drop 30, 40, 50%. And we usually have several of these every week. They're exactly what Akbar says. It's a trap. Don't chase them. Not right now. And then last but not least, we have our Dumpster Fire. And these are books that are going to drop 60, 70, 80%. We usually have at least a couple of these every week when we do the look back show. Although this week we didn't, but the previous week we had like 5. So, it balances out. We throw them in a few other categories. We have our, whatever, books that are like, it's not really even hot. Not sure why they put it on the list is usually what we're talking about there. And occasionally we have come on, man. Like, what are we even thinking? So those are the categories that I throw these into. Manic is in the house. What is going on? Dennis, hello. So, without further ado, Geezer Skate, what is going on? I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it and that it has been helpful. All right. So, let's get into these books. We got 19 books to talk about between the two lists. So, yeah. So, back again. Third week, although not the same book exactly. Another of the M&M Spotlight variants for ASM1. The one with the full color background is the one we've talked about the last few weeks. They then put out this one with the black and white background, and it's limited to 1,000 as opposed to the 5,000 of the previous one. It's going for $600 to $700. What's going on, D-Mets? Sure, it's too late. It's giant already. It's a giant head. All you have to do is see my hat size. $600 to $700 for this thing, which I really just want to do this. Like, really? These aren't even the first time M&M has appeared on a cover of a comic. I said this about, what did I say? What did I, just double check. What did I predict for that one last week? Go here. I've been calling it a trap for the 5,000 print one. I think this is also a trap. $600 to $700 for that. I don't care if there's only 1,000 of them. That seems crazy. I do not need this. Any incarnation. This 5 years ago, yeah. Couldn't do that now, but yeah. I mean, $600 to $700. No, thank you. Trap. Yeah. If you got it originally off the website, you did good. You made some quick cash on this sucker. Next, we got Thanos Death Notes #1. This is the 1 in 100. So I will tell you guys, because Tom's list is so late, I have the CBSI books all at the front. I have Tom's books all at the back, even if a couple of them are related. Also, CBSI's ones were all kind of just covers. So just to give you an idea of the way we're going to go through this list. So this is Thanos Death Notes #1, the 1 in 100 EM Gist variant. This is obviously the first appearance of a new, you see that on his hand there, the black glove that we're going to talk about later, that was from that future view from Thor #6 from a couple years ago. We're finally getting back to that part of the story. There's a new Infinity Stone that's the black stone in there. I don't even know what it is. I didn't even look to see what the name of it is. I assume that's death behind him. But that's what's causing this book to jump to 225. 225 plus, on a 1 in 100. 1 in 100s don't really follow the typical rules you get for 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s, just because there's so much more to start with. But having said all that, I don't think this is a particularly great cover. I don't think most of the Stones' first appearances are really that expensive. I think over the next 6 months, I think this is, maybe the story arc happens and this becomes super important, and I'm way wrong, but I still think this is a trap at 225. I think this is going to be down ratio or a little above in 6 months. This is my thoughts. Fool and his money. Yeah. Or so I've heard. Ratio or even less. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with this, Big Will. Oh, magazine. There you go. Thanos death. Nah. I'm not clicking on Unruly's, what he would spend his cheddar on. So yeah, that's my thought here, as I think this is another trap. We're starting with 2 traps. Next, we're back on this second week in a row. Pop Kill #1. The second print, Adam Hughes, limited to 1,000. A reminder that the original version of this was for Pop Kill #4. The wet t-shirt version was Pop Kill #4. Last week, where were we at? We were like in an upper 2. We were like 2 to 285 is what they were saying for sales. Now we're 300 plus for this. Last week I said straight cash because the original version has continued to be straight cash. Now at 300 plus, there's only 1,000 of these. People seem obsessed with this cover, even though they care nothing about the series that I've heard. I've never heard anything about the series other than about this cover. So here's the balance when we think about this. Typically, a cover like this will not last, will not hold, unless the series itself, unless it's so amazing of a cover. But the original version did. It was the exception to the rule. It continued to grow in value. It goes for huge money. So what do we think? Will this follow the original, or because it's just a knockoff, does it follow more typical cover rules and drop back like it should? Big Will says it'll correct. D-Met says, meh. Can justify spending that money. showing for Pop Girls. I spend money. So yeah, even though last week I thought, it probably follows the other one, I'm actually leaning now against that. I don't think it like drops way back in value, but I think the original is the one that actually ends up holding value. And this one, it holds value, but not like where we're talking now. I think we're into the I'll be back territory, possibly heading toward trap territory at 300 plus. I'm going to put it in I'll be back, which puts it back down to where it kind of was last week, which would make my prediction from last week wrong, but so one of my two predictions is going to be wrong. We'll see. so I've hedged my bets. Last week's prediction is going to be wrong, or this week's prediction is going to be wrong. So, that's, I play both sides here. That's what we're going to do. So, I agree. This is, I have a hard time, but I know what the other one did. So I've had a hard time like thinking about this, how I would normally about this type of cover, because I know what the original did in value and has done. So that's where I'm going. All right, next. But at this point, I'm off the hype train here. Next, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. What the heck happened? I lost my place. Sorry. The Danton Akande 1 in 25. Going for $50 to $75. I don't even think this is a particularly sweet cover. This is the new series with the comic coming, but 1 in 25, 50 to 75. That means it's between double and triple ratio. We'll just follow the straight rules on this, which means it's going to end up between ratio and double ratio. So you're looking at a $30, $40 book, which makes this by definition, if you're paying $64 now on a 50 to 75 average, makes it a trap. That's really what it is. My guess is it's going to be 30, 40 on what's now 50 to 75. That makes it a trap. Really just forget what you think about the specific cover. I don't think it's special enough to buck the rules. And so I think it follows the 125 rules. Solid meh. There you go. I'd be flipping it now before it backs up. It almost looks like so I only know this because I have nieces and nephews who love Legos, but does Devil Dinosaur not look like the Lego T-Rexes that you get in the like Jurassic Park sets? I feel like he looks like the coloration, even the way the head is shaped, the way it almost looks like the Lego attached arm there. Like it looks like a Lego T-Rex. I can't not see that once I thought it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Big Will says it's going to drop below ratio. It might. Typically, if it's double to triple, initially, it ends up staying just above, like in the 30, between ratio and double. Yeah. It's very square. It looks like the Lego ones. I don't know. So maybe it's just me. Next, we got Frank Miller's Pandora #1, the Frank Miller 1 in 25. So we had the announcement last spring, that Frank was starting his own publishing company, and I believe this is the first book. Maybe I missed one. I think this is the first book to come out of the Frank Miller Publishing Company. His 1 in 25 is going for 25 to 45, which means it didn't even make double ratio, which means which means it's going to end up below ratio, which means it's absolutely a trap. Boy, we've got a lot of traps here. 4 of the first 5 are traps. Doesn't say that quite that harsh, but yeah. Yeah, it's not even averaging double ratio. There's no reason to think it's going to amount to anything. Maybe this series becomes something people really like, and that could change things, but based on just the cover alone, doesn't seem like it. All right. Yeah. Next, we're going to keep moving. I don't feel like there's much to talk about there. Quested #1, this Legend of Zelda 1 in 25 homage. So a homage to the original Legend of Zelda game. It's a Whatnot exclusive. This thing is going for $30 to $35, which is not, or is a 1 in 25. Wait. It says Whatnot. Oh, Whatnot's publishing this. That's right. It's a Whatnot. It's not a Whatnot exclusive. It's a Whatnot published this. Sorry, and it is the 1 in 25 of what they published. Only going for 30 to 35. Zelda's cool. I'm sure there's people. But at 30 to 35 on 125, yeah, that's at that low, it actually probably is only an I'll be back because it doesn't have that far to back up, but it probably ends up just below ratio. So, or worse. Yeah. Comics by the Bay, what is going on? There's several of these out there, so I would be patient on this one for sure. It is true. Things are even softer now than typical. So at this point, you even like the way the market's been, unless we get an uptick in spring of 23 here, which is possible, but if the market continues the way it is, you got to like err on the side of things are coming back more than you even think, or more than they typically would. Yeah, I don't think this is not a retailer. I think this is I think Whatnot is not. This is not a Whatnot exclusive cover. This is Whatnot produced book, and this is a 1 in 25 of that book. So we want to be clear on that. Yeah. Kanto knockoff. Yeah. Yeah. All right, next we're gonna keep moving. We had a ton of covers this week. CBSI was all covers. Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, Peach Momoko 1 in 200. That is basically going from ratio at 2 to 225. Momoko's haven't held even a 1 in 200 miles. A 1 in 200 miles usually does a little. Miles is a pretty popular character. Some of his covers usually do pretty well, but the recent history of Momoko, the fact that it's just going for ratio, even though it's going to be kind of hard to find. Hard to find Miles covers do well, but I would still put this as an I'll be back. I don't think it's a good enough cover to that people are really going to chase this for big money, even though it's going to be pretty hard to find. I know people love Miles, but it's not that great of a cover. His neck is kind of long. And sometimes I really love Peach's stuff. She does some covers that I think are just really fantastic, and then but the majority are I'm an unruly meh, or sometimes I'm like, ooh, that's not attractive at all. So I just think she's just very hit or miss for me. But I do think she has done some really spectacular work, but just consistently, no. I don't think it's consistently at a really high quality. At least not for me. Next, we got Wonder Woman #28 from 2014. This is a J.G. Jones 1 in 25. This is a very hard to find cover. This cover is always in high demand. We had a 9.4 hit 550, followed up immediately by a 9.2 hit 500. This book has just continued to kind of climb. It's hard to find. It's hard for people to get. There's a demand for it. This kind of Western Wonder Woman thing. This book has been straight cash. Maybe there's a lull that I'm not accounting for, but at the very least, I think you're looking at this. Maybe this is the more appropriate way to say, because I don't think it's necessarily going to jump a ton, but I don't think it's backing up any. So we're going to change it. We're going to go with worth it as opposed to straight cash. But yeah, if you've had this book for a long time, this book is straight cash. And I think long term, this book is straight cash. Over 6 months, it's probably just kind of worth it because it's always had value and held value. So this is one of those that people want. And why did your comments disappear? There you go. This was not an incentive variant. It was an open order, I believe. Yeah. He likes this Wonder Woman cover, I think. Yeah, this has always been a high demand comic. That's just all there is to it. Hey, Richard, what's going on? Yes, this is my prediction. This is exactly. So that's why I say it should have been worth it, because it'll climb a little bit maybe. But yeah, it's just going to keep slowly going up. Is the people that really want it are going to pay for it. Next, where are we at? Our only book that was on both lists this week, Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 3, the Lee Bermejo variant. This is a cover B, I believe. Well, it's an open order cover, so it could be a C or whatever, but it's at the worst, it's a B or a C cover, but it's not an incentive. Going for $10 to $20 right now, but this is a regular variant. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Bermejo fan. It feels so. I put that out there because that probably biases my opinion. Plus, I am just so tired of Joker. So my own personal things are probably unreally as Bermejo as a beast. They feel overly over the top done. They're like, oh, too much detail almost. It looks weird to me. His characters often look weird to me. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like they're over the top detail. I don't know. Manic dislikes this cover. Creepy Santa, no thank you. $100 seems okay. Well, it's going for 10 to 20, Big Will, so you don't have to pay 100. Yeah, Steampunk Wonder Woman is awesome. I put this as an I'll be back. It's going for 10 to 20 now. I don't think it's a one that just jumps way up, but I think it probably holds around $10. So I would put this in I'll be back, find a deal. See if you can still find it on the shelf somewhere. Not just paid for a decade, but give me like 3 years of no Joker. Just none. No Joker books, no Joker Elseworld Tales, no Joker one-shots, no Joker Batman side series, no Joker anything for like 3 years. Just 3 years. And then tell a Joker story. They can't go 3 days without telling a Joker story, so there you go. Big Will disagrees with me. He says this one is cash. Maybe it is. Like I said, maybe my own personal biases are telling me wrong. It hasn't jumped that much. It's a regular variant, which tells me probably it was pretty well ordered to start with, because it was an open order variant. I'm putting it as an I'll be back. All right, next. Last of the CBSI books. Yeah, except he's all of them. Is DN Agents, a classic Dave Stevens variant cover from 1985. DN Agents number 24. There was a couple of higher sales this week. A 9.8 went for $350. A couple raw sales are 20 to 60. This book has just kind of been slowly moving up. Dave Stevens has got collectors, people that love his stuff. This to me, I put this kind of like that Wonder Woman J.G. Jones cover. This is not as famous, but if you're a Stevens collector, it is. And so I just kind of put this in the worth it category here. I don't think it's going to jump dramatically, but I don't think it's coming back down either. Anyway, yeah, they've been creeping up here recently and will probably continue to do so. Truth Department, what's going on? What's your thoughts on Twig and Animal Castle 2? I haven't read either of those, so I can't. Those are not series I've gotten to yet, so I can't really have a strong opinion. I don't have a strong opinion either way. So because I haven't read them. You'd be surprised. Yeah. Well, I just it's old enough and it's been around long enough and the interest has been there long enough. There's enough Stevens fans that it's not going to come back down. It's just going to be where it's at or slowly creep up. Yeah, it's just the cover. I don't know. I typed in variant and I don't know why I did that. It's just a Dave Stevens cover. Lady F, what is happening? You're here just in time for Dave Stevens pinup covers. So there you go. All right, we're going to move along. We're moving on to Tom's list here. This is Lodger number 1. I'm going to try and get rid of that variant in my thing and put cover. Lodger number 1. Apparently a bunch of IDW books got optioned this week. This was one of them. And it had 1,000% increase in sales, and it's all the way up to an $8 to $10 book. Okay. It's optioned. It's $8 to $10. I guess that's fine, but I would still be like the odds of this ever becoming anything are so slim. It's so slim. I mean, it's just so unlikely that this ever becomes an actual project. Yeah. Hey, Stephen S. Oh. Yeah. Lady Fantastic, man. Well, I appreciate that. Sorry, and I try to stay in my lane. If I don't know, I try not to give you guys bad advice. We'll see in a minute. So yeah, this is an option. It's an I'll be back. Don't do it. Don't change it right now. Even at $8 to $10, I wouldn't change this. Next, another option. Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, #1. Also optioned, also $8 to $10 with a 1,900% increase, 9.8 going for 60, and it's still the same. Even though it's low, only reason it's not traffic is because it's low value. It's an I'll be back. The odds of that becoming anything are so slow. It's not even. They haven't even been able to turn Something Is Killing the Children into anything yet. Think about that. That was the option 2+ years ago now. Nothing. Like, that's not even close to being anything. You think Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, is going to become something soon? No. Discover Lodger's terrible. There you go. They're really strong, kind of, maybe so. Yeah. 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 Leave that next. We're gonna keep moving. Then. All right. Oh, I gotta scroll over here. So we talked about the other book related to this earlier. We talked about that Thanos Death Notes earlier. So this is Thor #6 for 2020. This is the second print where they put the last panel of the book as the cover. And we see Thanos holding Mjolnir with the Infinity Stones. And we see him with this black gauntlet. It's supposedly a vision of Thor's future from Black Winter. And then nothing has happened with this for 2 years. And Kate has done other stuff. And then finally this week we got, in that Death Notes thing, we got this black gauntlet. And we got the black gauntlet and what the stone is. So let's put this back on the list. Still $15, 9.860, which are both way down from the initial spec on this. Like, the initial spec on this, it was like raw copies were like 60 and 9.8s were, yeah. So this is still like a $15 book raw, 9.860, and it's still absolutely, even at those values, I'll be back. For sure. This is it must be the Marjorie thing. Comments must be like a little behind. Yeah. Meh. It just won't go away, Sam. They just keep bringing it back. Kate spec never pans out. It really hasn't. Hasn't really panned out. No. Keep moving. All right. Next up, Infinite Crisis #5. So this hit the list. First appearance of Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle. We have known for forever they were working on it should be done at this point, a Blue Beetle movie that was first going to be on HBO Max. Then they were going to release it to theaters. And then everything at Warner Brothers has changed. So nobody knew what the future of this was. But this week we got a poster. So it appears this is still happening. So James Gunn hasn't killed it yet, or Warner Brothers hasn't killed it yet. Raw copies on this, $60 for this cover. The other cover can get for like 10, under 20 for sure. How about that? 9.8 hit 230, which is still down from like 500 when it was originally announced. And I don't know when the movie's actually coming, so the timing here I don't think it's coming this spring. So I still put this as an I'll be back, because I think you're going to have opportunities to get this when people aren't thinking about it, like you could have a month and a half ago. And so, yeah, I still think there's opportunities here. Ted Cruz Blue Beetle. If it's modern on fashion, there you go. That's a nope. Yeah. Oh, I get it. I totally get that. There you go. Be selling those suckers. Yeah. I think this is way too high. This is the very best, and I'll be back if not a trap. Particularly once the movie comes and goes. Yeah. I would wait till the movie comes and goes before I bought this book, I'll be honest. Next. Daredevil number 254. So this is the first appearance of Typhoid Mary. There was an actress cast for Daredevil Born Again, the new Disney Plus series that's coming. We have no idea who she's playing, but she's kind of got wild hair and like, she could look like somebody you might cast for Typhoid Mary, and that's the spec. Raw copies 25, 9.8 hit 550. Lady Fantastic finally going straight cash. She Matters. Typhoid Mary is a cool character. I will give you that. Yeah. Generally, most of the books that hit these lists go down. Yes, absolutely. The vast majority do. I still call this an I'll Be Back because we don't know who it is. Even though we don't know who this actress is playing. We are not getting Born Again this spring. Like we're over a year out from Born Again. Like we're not getting in 23, I don't believe, unless I'm missing something. So yeah, you got plenty of time. Even if we got an announcement that that's who she's playing, you got plenty of time to come back for this. So yeah, I'd still put this in the I'll Be Back category. I know Lady Fantastic's not gonna like that, but it's just yeah. Yes, it's really based on her hairstyle. It really is the hairstyle of the image that she used when she was like cast. That's it. Hey, go with Lady Fantastic's opinion. That is fine. That's probably smarter than my opinion. So there you go. Waiting on DC to do Crisis. Right, answer Crisis. Yeah. Thank you, Whodat. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the 12 thumbs ups I got. I will take them. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out and watching with me. So, but I mean, like long term, this is not crazy value, but I do think it's an I'll Be Back because I think, yeah, you're gonna have plenty of time before we know anything for sure. Next, Uncanny X-Men number 229, the first appearance of Tiger, who's like the queen pin of Madripoor. I've never even heard of this lady until today. So that tells you, if I had, I didn't remember her. But another actress was cast that people were like, oh, she could do that because we've had Madripoor and blah, 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 blah. So raw copies, $12, 9.899. No idea if this is real casting or just people, again, speccing based on the look of the actress, which is not a good way to spec. Generally, I'll be back. And honestly, I would call this a trap if it was going for any higher. But the fact that it's $12.99 for 9.8, yeah, that's probably like just come back. Yes, Typhoid Mary is a smart long-term keeper. You are correct. X-Men Rule. It's a $3 book. Yeah. Yeah, it's an X-Men book that, yeah, if you're collecting X-Men, great to have. But I wouldn't be buying it for Tiger. So, yeah. I don't know. Pure insanity. This is my point. Yeah, really, I should have put for Tiger, I should have put this. Yeah. That's really what I should put for Tiger. So, there you go. There are a few. You get a few occasionally that show up, but not very many. All right, next is all Guardians trailer stuff. A week late, but yeah, the last three are all Guardians trailer stuff. We got our glimpse of the High Evolutionary in the trailer. So I'm going to go on a little rant about Tom right here, and Key Collector probably more appropriately. Tom's video he puts out. Average sales, 650. 9.2 way back in September, because that's relevant, for 1,072 on Thor 134, the first appearance High Evolutionary. So I went online. I went, because I've realized recently that the average sale data that they put, particularly on these older books, is usually wrong. It makes no sense. And so I went and looked. He said average sales, $650. Raw sales were 80 to 400 in the last month plus. And going back to where did I put? The highest sale of anything in December was an 8.5 on it. Now, this is just eBay. I'm just looking at eBay. So they could be looking at other stuff to get some of these numbers. But still, there's a lot of sales, and it had to be very high to move the number this much. The highest sale of anything of this thing was an 8.5 that went for $590 in December. There were no sales above $650 in the last month of any book, of graded, raw, nothing. I don't get where they get the key collector averages are garbage. And honestly, you shouldn't use the values they spout because they're wrong. And like for the longest time, and I don't have time to always go back and look at all the values, but on anything that's older now, I feel like I have to because they're wrong. In order to give a good valuation of what happens with the book, the numbers are wrong. And the next 3 books are all like this. So raw copies, we're going 80 to 400 right now. I left that 9.2 in that was 1,000, but I have the 8.5 that went for 590. The book is up. It's moving. It's a good book. Long term, obviously, this is, this. Short term, once you get past Guardians, it's going to be, and I'll be back once you get past Guardians 3. So there you go on that. You didn't call it extrapolation. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else everybody else is saying. So thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. Fred Chase, what's going on? I love you. AF, you're so fun. I'm so glad you're hanging out with us. So grace us with your presence. Next, we got Incredible Hulk 271. Second appearance of first cover of Rocket Raccoon. Also the first appearance of Lila, which is the otter that we saw in the trailer, and Rocket's love interest. Average sales, according to the Tom thing, $215. There were no raw sales that high. They were $100 to $200 on raw sales, with most of them $100 to $150. 9.8, they listed as 1,030. There were no recent 9.8 sales that was way back in early November, I think. I didn't go back that far, but so yeah, that one was not as bad on their average, but it was definitely still too high. For the $100, that's basically, it's a little higher than that right now because of the trailer. But yeah, it'll be back there in 6 months. This is another long term. But as we're with Guardians going away and with James Gunn leaving and Guardians going away, any of those characters, Star-Lord, Nebula, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, Groot. Well, Groot's just a monster of a book, but those others all going to come down. By this time next year is when I would look for those characters because they're going to be done with them. Most of those actors have all said that when James leaves, they're out. Be patient right here. Now it's not the time to buy these characters because they're about to all cycle out of the MCU. I'll be back for sure on these guys. I don't even know if he's going to die. I just think they're going to, yeah. This is true. But yeah, if you get around whatever, but you can definitely do better. I would love for Nebula to get a series, but I don't think she's going to. Very cool. That's very cool. Have a Bradley Cooper signed one. That's awesome. All right, last book. And this is the worst one on the list in terms of Tom talking about value. Fantastic Four, number 67, first cameo appearance of him. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Obviously, this is long term. Now we're talking around the movie and the hype and that kind of stuff. Okay? First of all, Tom claimed the average sales were $1,500. The highest sale I could find since November was a 9.0 that went for $900. 9.0, 900. That was the highest sale I could find. They were saying average sales $1,500. Raw copies are going basically $100 to $200. Now, these are mostly pretty low grade. If you had a higher grade thing in there, it would obviously jump way up. There just hasn't been a higher grade one sell recently. They put an older 9.4 in for $2,400. That's about right. But yeah, there's no recent raw sales over 200 on eBay because there hasn't been a high grade raw come up. Everybody has some slabs. Yeah. What Lady F? See, I was like Carolyn. I was let her talk. Yeah. I put this right now just because of him appearing in the trailer and everything else. Short term is this. Longer term, obviously this. But yeah, don't buy the hype. Wait till you can get a deal. So must have regardless of hype. If you're into Adam Warlock, that's not a Marvel character that does much for me. But yeah, I totally get it. I'll pick it raw. She's getting a little, I don't know, man. I remember this being like half until the end credit scene. I think it's inflated book. How much is the question? Oh, it's definitely inflated right now. That is the question. I think it's more of an I'll be back than a. But here's the thing about Adam Warlock. Is he's a character I think we will continue to get. Because they've said that they're going to have newer characters come in for their outer space stuff. So I don't think we're leaving the outer space stuff. I think we're just leaving those original Guardians characters after this movie. So I think we're going to get at more Adam Warlock. Maybe not. Feels like it'd be a waste to only play him one time. So that would be my thought there. Yeah. All right. That's it. Those are the 19 books. I've talked for forever. We're only 40 minutes. That's about typical. They're both strong books. Yes. But I would not buy them right now. I would just be patient. For sure. All right. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. That's 19 books we talked about. What did I predict? I predict 2 worth it, a whole bunch of I'll be backs, and 5 traps. So, that was 19 books. So, yeah. So 7 non-I'll be backs. And yeah, I probably should have put a couple of traps in here toward the end. I got a little I'll be back heavy toward the end. I'm going to change one of them in my prediction right now. You guys can't see it, but that X-Men 299, even though it's not going for enough. It's an I'll be back. Yeah. All right. We're leaving them all, so I'll be back. All right. I want to thank you guys for watching, for hanging out with me. Go back to enjoy your Sunday. Tonight, we will be back for our Christmas special a little bit on D&D with the boys. We have a little holiday theme going tonight. Still part of our main campaign, but we're going to have a little holiday fun. And with that, I will catch you guys later. Maybe. Where's my little outgo? There it is. Later.